Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. So it's been a couple of weeks since the last one. Last week I was hoping to show a little bit more of uh, things, but I had a couple of issues with Unreal, and I just decided not to do a stream. It was just a little bit, things were somewhat broken. For this week, I'll start with some of the latest updates as far as kind of just the gameplay and also some of the work that I've done around like the enemies. And mainly just if you remember, I use these spawn points, but for certain spawn points, what I want to do is I might want to respawn the enemies, so it might be maybe like a house or something like that where they come out, they come out of it. Um, so that would be a point where enemies would probably spawn, whenever you start the game and or you get to that location again after like a save or something like that. So, and there's also points where are, let's call them mission related points, like for example, the one at the start of the game when you rescue the first NPC, and you don't really want to for in that location an enemy to respawn, right? Because usually these NPCs are just going to be a little static. They're not going to be moving across the map. So once you rescue this person, it's going to always be there for you to like come back. So that's why, once you save the game, you don't want, this enemy to respawn in this location. So I was able to implement that into the save system as well. So that's taking into account. Also, I was able to implement the current inventory that you have when you load from a save game, namely if you have like something equipped, like you've already picked up a rifle or like the bow, and so that one is also in place now when you load from a save. Okay, so that's a couple of a lot of it was kind of on the back end, not nothing really visible, but just kind of bringing these out. So um, also another thing that I've done is and it was somewhat in place before, but it wasn't working properly. It's being able to swap between weapons. So, for example, like if I pick up a rifle and then let's pick up like the bow and a couple of arrows. So I would equip the bow, and just like before, there's the arrows. Let's just kind of deal with that guy. But then once you swap over to the rifle, so the animations are still a little bit, they're not like the best. And I see oh, there you go. So that was a good test. That arrow is still there. So that's the one arrow that gets the actual arrow projectile that gets spawned, and so it's still there, unfortunately. I mean, if I was to shoot all of them and then swap over to the rifle, that shouldn't be there anymore. But since that projectile got spawned, apparently I did not destroy that once I swapped over to the rifle. So that's something to write down as an issue to look into. Um, yeah, so that was so yeah. If I go back to the bow, the bow gets equipped, and and unfortunately, it should not have another helper arrow. So that's something to that I'm gonna need to look into. Again, just how interesting it is when you like you do these tests through streaming. Okay, so let's take a look at what I mentioned earlier. With this enemy has been killed, so just gonna quickly test what happens when if I go in and save the game and then just exit. So once you load back into the game, as you can see, this guy has been spawned, but because this is just refreshing what's in the editor. So if I go and load it, let's see, he should not. Oops, my bad. I had a breakpoint, and instead of going over it, I just pressed escape. So let's try this again. So as we can see, there's the enemy. So let's see if we load in here. So he should not have been there. That's interesting. Let me try this one more time. So just taking him out. Oh, and also a couple of updates with the weapons. I've kind of reduced some of the spread, so it's not like you're shooting him from here and you're missing. That's shouldn't happen. So the spread is a little bit less with the rifle. There's still a recoil, but it doesn't fire like before. So if I was to shoot over here, it just doesn't it's not it doesn't have that spread where it's just like kind of going wild all over the place. All right, so now that I've killed this guy, let me try and save this again. Oh, and this is the example, actually kind of the flipped example, because um this spawn point is actually has it as should respawn. So every time if I kill whatever enemy this point had spawned, uh, the next time I go in, it's going to spawn another enemy if this option is checked. So now that's where we were seeing this even after loading, we were seeing the enemy being spawned here. And as you can see, there's like two of them. That's a little bit of an issue. Um, but if I uncheck this, so it shouldn't spawn. Let's do another save.
Please don't shoot. I don't know where they are.
And my apologies, it's running pretty poorly because I think I have like 50 tabs open. Uh, so this guy was a little bit stubborn. All right, so now let's try and go ahead and save this. I'm just gonna exit. So let's try going back in
Please don't shoot. I don't
and
know where they are.
let's see if once we load it, hopefully that guy is not there anymore. So there we go. And I just need to make sure that like the NPC also register that he's not he's not being taken hostage or anything like that. All right. So that was kind of from the perspective of the enemy slash NPC slash weapons. Now the other thing, also mechanics wise,
Please
is
don't shoot. I don't know where they
I
are.
mentioned a while back that I was planning to have a a basic minimalistic crafting system. Not to nothing too fancy or nothing that would like interrupt the game. So and also in order for you to get these items that you can craft something out of, you'd have to be able to pick them up from different locations. So it's either like something that you kind of pick off the ground like this, like scraps, or it's something that you can do this. So you can like search through items. So I wanted to have like a timed interaction for a while because there's going to be some elements in the game that you're going to interact with that are timed. So this is um, this was like the first one that I put in place, and so you'd be able to like kind of timed search the trash, and then there's like something that gets spawned out of there, and in this case, it's some scraps. And so the way this works, once you pick it up, you can go into like your inventory and just like with the this would be either on your wrist on your device tablet 3D object, or it could be the regular UI, which I just have here for simplicity. And so in here, once you press B, I should probably use a different a different button, you would see kind of like the items that you can craft. So right now, there's like one in there, and if you use the scroll mouse button, you'd be able to scroll through them and create them. So that I just had a quick placeholder for an icon. So that would be like arrows, for example. You'd be able to pick up scrap and craft some arrows. And of course, what this one you can switch back your menu to the the list the current mission, or go back to this. And of course, this one, if you were to pick up more, it's I'm not sure if you can see it right there behind that little icon. Let's start over. I won't use the the mouse wheel
I was told
to
you all
scroll
had
through
to
the items
leave.
you can craft, but let's take a quick look at this. So right now it's empty. You know, you pick something up, and you know you have a count of one, so you can craft one of those items. And then let's kind of just search through this. All right, and pick up this, and that one goes to two. So it tells you how many items you'd be able to craft. So for example, uh, thinking about crafting arrows, um, you'd be able to craft those two items, you know. So and if once there's a couple of more items added to the list to craft, that you'd be able to scroll through them with the mouse wheel. But right now the mouse wheel, I just wanted to make sure that it gets registered, and in right now it just like makes that icon a little bit bigger. So I just wanted to make sure that it registers the event of the mouse wheel. And potentially, what I'm going to do is just going to be a mouse wheel press to craft that item, which is going to go directly to the inventory. So for example, if you think of an arrow, it's just going to craft the arrow, go to the inventory. And in case there is no space in the inventory, I think right now I only have like 3 arrows that you can carry, because that's how many you can display on the bow. And so that's probably going to be it's probably going to be it. So once you use the arrows, you can go in and craft them. But again, this one does not interrupt gameplay. So you can like hide these, you know, kind of go through the menu as well. And so it's kind of an active menu, so to speak. I'm not sure if that's even a term, but hey, Atlantica, happy Sunday. Welcome, welcome. Um, all right, so that one was a little bit of a lift, mainly because I didn't have that implemented. So that, along with being able to search through um, uh, or a timed interaction, not so much as just because this was an example, you know, where you can search um, through like trash to find some scraps or something to build things. Um, okay, so and the other work that I was doing, and let's actually start the game for this one. 1 second. Just kind of starting. I want to start it as a first time. Is So we have the plane flight sequence where but how does the plane malfunction, right? That's the question. So let's actually jump in and you'll see what happens. Oh my God, this guy is like flying really. Why is he flying so slow? Oh, that's a little bit too slow of a flight. Let me quickly fix that. As I was testing this, um, there was a little bit of I had to like reduce the speed just for the testing. So let's try and make it about 5 times bigger, and let's see how this works. Excuse me. Well, that's still somewhat slow. Did I? Oh, that should be it. Let me try upping this one a little bit more. Just wondering if this is not the right parameter that I was using. Let me see. Bear with me for just a few seconds here. I'm trying to remember the variable I was using. Oh, it's the amount to move. I think this is it. So let's actually make it, let's try this one more time. All right, so that's a little bit better. All right, so we're flying along. Another thing that, uh, I was also able to fix is kind of the hand placement on these. And yeah, you're not going to flip the plane, so you're not going to, flip these around. So as you fly along, peacefully, there's like one of the jump points, and that should have happened by now. Let me see. Well, so just to let you know what's going to happen is, one of those turrets, that are usually going to be mounted on the military trucks, it's going to start firing at you, and that's going to, uh, kind of cause a malfunction, right? Because that's what normally happens. And there's like some particle effects that's going to start. Some smoke that's going to start coming out of the engine. So that's when the basically the crash is, well, the controlled crash is going to start happening. So I just wanted to see why this guy, oh, is active. I forgot about this. All right, so let's try this one more time. And I'm gonna move the plane a little bit further on the spline just so that we don't have to like wait for it. Maybe a little more. There we go. I think that might put it a little bit closer to where the turret is. Yeah, let's see if it registers the plane. All right, let's go. Let's see. All right, so you're flying along, and then there's like all these issues. I'm not sure. I'm hoping the audio is coming through. And then you can, you get to the jump points, and then you jump out of the airplane, and the airplane continues to fly. That's another thing that I was able to fix, where and what happened? Why is he over there? That's interesting. Okay. And along with that, not that I was able to show this as an issue. I guess there we go. I'm thinking I might have killed the plane before I landed, so that could be why it lost the controller. Oh, thank you, Atlantica. Uh, so, excuse me. Yeah, so the if you remember, like when I was trying to do this in the main level, I was kind of falling to 0, 0, 0 in the world, and so I was able to fix that as well in the main level. Um, it was, I'm not sure if it was why it was working in the test level, but not in the world partition level. So I was able to fix some of the way the locations were being calculated based on the actual world location and the difference between where the plane is and the fall point. Yeah, so but that's the other one that I wanted to share with you guys. And for whatever reason, it's kind of sometimes it gets stuck in this kind of looking from the side angle of the camera, especially when I lose the controller, like it happened there. Yeah. All right. So let me see what else. for updates. So we talked about the the enemy NPCs, not spawning if it's like a point of interest, mission related location. Also the the basic crafting that I hope to have ready by next week, so we can actually take a look at and try it out when, crafting crafting arrows, and also kind of being able to search through items or like time the interaction with specific items. So there's going to be like some electrical items in the world that you'd be able to uh, you'll have to time interact with them. Yeah, a big one was the save as well. So kind of working so this one, the fact that it shouldn't respawn an enemy is being saved. Also, the player's inventory. So and along with that is not just the player inventory, but once you get back into game and you load to have the weapon spawned based on what you have in your inventory. So if you've already picked up a rifle and the bow, those should already be spawned and ready for you to equip when you hit, your the keyboard, like number two, number three, uh, what these are mapped to. All right. Let me see what else. So yeah, and of course, like the flight sequence and kind of working out the turret AI, which also had some bugs that I needed to fix. So working out the turret AI so that once you fly over that location, where the chemical plant is, one of these turrets will fire at you, and you'll start your air quotes control the landing, right? Okay. Let's see. So I think that might be it um, from the gameplay aspect of things. Oh yeah, and along with that, like I was mentioning, some fixes for how the bow works with doing damage, and as well as the rifle, and also adjusted how big the whenever the enemy fires at you. We were last time we were I was showing this. It was a little bit, it was throwing you off quite a bit. Like, the camera shake was a little bit too, the effect was a little bit too strong. So I've adjusted that down a little bit so that it reflects it a little bit better. Oh, and another thing, let's actually jump into game mode again. And actually, no, I didn't want to do the whole flight. Um, so I'll also show a little bit of the AI. So the AI is now able to has its own inventory.
Please don't
It
shoot.
had it
I don't know where they
it
are.
had it before, but now it can reload as well. So let's take a look at I'll just engage this guy. I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit so that it's not too loud. Yeah, so you can like, so now he's gonna fire at me. You can see like it's not that strong, like um, yeah, so see, and he can reload, and then he would continue hunting me, or, whoops, I'm not in the right place. Yeah, so he would continue firing at me after he reloads. He runs out of, I think I've set him up with like 4 magazines, so he's gonna go around and, hey, where are you going? I think he's in like a patrol mode. I'm not sure if he's not seeing. Oh, there he goes. So now he ran out of he ran out of that mag, and now he's like reloading. So yeah, there we go. That's the other update. Just adjusting the enemy AI a little bit. Right. Okay. So let's actually also go into the main world, into the main level, and I think for the rest of the stream, I had planned to do a little bit of of work around the chemical factory and also around the dam. There were a couple of things that I wanted to do slash didn't like. So I'll show you what happened since a couple of weeks ago when it comes to the world building as well. So bear with me while this loads. Um, and uh, I brought up the dam um, because the way I have it currently set up is it's just a straight road into the side of it. And I was trying um, to look at, kind of, the bottom of a dam in real world type of scenarios and how that infrastructure is set up. And hopefully we'll be able to get some of that done during this stream. But the first thing that I wanted to do is to create and this thing is something that I've wanted to do um, I've wanted to do ever since I started the kind of planning the world around this chemical factory. This there is I've wanted to have like a train, not a train system per se, like with train stations and all that, but like have some train tracks uh, where if you think of this, I was trying to think of it as it's a chemical plant, okay, so they might be, exporting some of this stuff, they might be sending it out somewhere. I'm gonna minimize some of these tabs. Maybe we get this to work a little bit better, but I still have a ton. Still have a ton open. So my apologies for kind of the poor-ish performance at the moment. Let me see. Can I close a few more of these? Okay, that got a little bit better, but not by much. Um, so there's the chemical plant. One thing you'll notice is I've kind of went away and removed those concrete walls type of things. I wasn't really feeling them to be honest with you. And while I kind of like the idea of it being, a little bit mysterious, so to speak, it just felt a little much. So what I went with is just kind of regular type of fencing, really tall as well, just to kind of be a little bit menacing, just you won't be able to climb over them type of idea. But yeah, I wanted to try this out and see how this works with this kind of setup. Um, but yeah, what I was mentioning was that like the chemical factory has and in particular this asset pack, has these kind of train carts, barrels, for like deliveries and stuff, right? So I wanted to make use of that, and I was trying to think of, especially since I have uh, this factory placed over here, of how or where to put that through. So then I kind of looked at the map and I thought, you know what? This one kind of goes off the map here. So I could set up um, a train track alongside it to go off the map, kind of coming from the chemical plant here. So then I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I can lift this road up a little bit and uh, and then try to like make something underneath. So I went about and I placed some of these items here already, and I've also in Blender I've created the tunnel. So we'll see how this turns out, once the train tracks are in place, just following. I've kind of placed a spline, like a landscape spline here before, just to see how it would fit. And let's do that. I'm gonna bring in that 3D object, for the tunnel, and we'll pull some holes in the landscape and try and sculpt it using the train tracks landscape spline. Yeah, so let's do that. I think what I'll do first. Oh yeah, and just also as a little quick update, one thing that wasn't there before was, I've added this connection road to this other entrance that leads into here. And if you remember, this is kind of the road going off the map, which is blocked. Um, and this is where the observation point is, the town. Let's see, this is kind of where the mobile park is at this end, and this exit from the chemical factory, it ends into this road. All right, well, let's work on this little tunnel here. This should be hopefully a little bit of fun. But first, let me bring in that tunnel. Um, at least I think that's what I named it. That 3D object. Okay, well, where is it? What did I call you? Bear with me for just 1 second. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes the way the search in works in Unreal is a little bit odd. Sometimes it doesn't, at least on my end, sometimes it doesn't bring up all the assets that you think it have the same, tunnel in the name. All right, so let's bring this in. If anybody's interested, basically uh, this is what it looks like. So it's got this kind of tunnel opening here, um, the sides. So this way I can mask whenever I'm gonna put the holes in the terrain, and then the bottom of it, because this one's just you're gonna go below the terrain, so to speak. Well, not so to speak, but literally, it's going to be below the terrain. And on top of it, just to kind of cover it around here, is just a simple cube that's been displaced with a noise. So that way it kind of hopefully blends in with the area a little bit better. All right, so let's try and place this one. Just going to go with 90 degrees. And as you can see, I've already placed a few of these rocks around the top of it because that's where I was planning to have it. And we'll see. I think it blends in decently. I'm gonna try and like lift it up to about there. And we'll add in let's just kind of move this back a little bit. So I'm gonna add in the landscape spline with the train tracks because that will help with sculpting the terrain. It's not gonna help with anything underneath this, but I've never tried overlapping two landscape splines, but they seem to work out pretty well. Like I was afraid that whatever this landscape spline is going to be is also going to affect what this landscape spline is sculpting. So that doesn't seem to be the case. And so that was good. Well, let's add that in. I'm going to start with manage and then splines. So I'm just going to try and put like one point here, one here, one at the kind of the other exit of the tunnel. And then I'm just gonna follow this little track that I've put down here. And we can add some more to this later, but some more of these control points. And for now, I'm also going to get the control points and make this a little thinner, so maybe 400. Hopefully that's going to be good enough. And for segments, let's actually place this spline mesh in here, which is, I think I called it tracks. So tracks, train tracks, I think this might be it. I hope. Yeah, I think that looks like that one's it. All right, so let's try and get these points. I think it might be still a little bit big. This, so let's try and make it 300. There we go. I think that might be a little bit better. I'm also going to try and match it um, to what the actual train cart or train wagon. I think it's a wagon. Is how big that one is. But for now, let's go ahead and I'm going to try and sculpt this. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm not mistaking. Like when I was testing this, it was uh, it was not messing up with what this spline is doing. And that actually, so it did sculpt. Nothing got messed up. Yeah, so it's sculpted on this end as well. What it looks like I might end up having to do is I might need to add like a mesh vertical offset. So maybe let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, 40 might fit. And let's try and get this one to about there. And this one over here. Just try to adjust this point. I feel like this one is still a little too big. Yeah, so let me see if I go to 200. Yeah, that's actually better, I feel like. I feel like these could actually join pretty easily with the rest of the tracks that are just regular meshes. But for now, I'm just going to bring this forward and try and place it on the actual landscape spline tracks and see how this one. Oh, it's still big. I'm talking about these this spline. So control points. Let's see, maybe 160. That seems a little closer. 165. Let's see how good we can match these. I think that might be it. Let's see. Is this going to match or not match, but close-ish? So I think that might be. Oh, it can even be a little bit bigger, but it's definitely a lot closer. So let me just also position this cart on the rails here. Again, nothing that would move. It's just a static thing, but okay, that's about okay. There we go. So let's go back into the, the thing here. And yeah, one thing that I've somewhat frustrating with these is that the smaller you make this half width, the smaller these these icons go. So sometimes you can get to a point where these are might be really narrow because it might be like a guardrail or something, and you'd have a hard time finding these points that you would need to select them. But yeah, not that bad overall. I think I might have moved this off. Okay, so almost. I think that's gonna do okay. Yeah, I think that should be fine. But let's get it as close as we can. So we got that side, and this side is kind of biting into it. So maybe 175. Let's try this. Okay, I can do with that. 180. How big is the difference? Okay, there we go. I'll keep it at 180. All right. So now let's do the rest of this, which is let's sculpt and put some openings into this. Now, I might have mentioned this in the past, but you'd want to paint, whatever layer you have, like landscape layer that doesn't have any kind of landscape grasses with it, because those would not get removed when you put a hole in the terrain, unfortunately. I'm not sure why that is, but I guess that's by design. All right, so there's one. So let's get this one as well in here. Just also not trying to go too far outside of the boundaries, and that's why there's these kind of like these rocks and these wider sides um, of the tunnel, so that I can mask if I go too far out with the uh, with the holes that I'm cutting here. All right, so now let's see. That one's pretty close on this end. I think on this end it looked a little bit, I was gonna say, I thought it looked a little bit odd, but it's actually not that bad. Yeah, so this is kind of where the terrain is here, this edge, and then this is where the actual mesh of the tunnel is. So I think we can potentially adjust this up slightly. I don't want to go too far, so it's not cutting into this road, but I think that should be okay. We'll try and mask these sides, maybe with some of those granite meshes. That could look pretty cool, I think. But yeah, let's try and get this road to be a little straighter. It's a little bit. It looks like it's taking a curve or like a curve um, in the tunnel. Yeah, and see, this is what I was telling you about. This is like I can see it here, but a little bit hard to read where this is. All right, so I'm gonna try and get this one to be flat. Oh, actually, whoops, that was the rotation. So kind of like this. So there's one, at least for whatever is in the tunnel to be straight. And where is the other point? I think the other point is right outside the tunnel. I was trying to remember if I didn't put any of these inside. All right, so let's see. Where is the other one? I think it's maybe this one here. There we go. And let's also do this one to be. Oh, no, actually, no, there is one here. Yeah, see? And if this would have been like the normal size billboard, you would have been able to see it through the ground there, but unfortunately it isn't. So let's also make this straight. All right, I think that's good there. If I lift this up a little bit and also make it so that it's flat while inside the tunnel. And we might want to do the same thing for this one. So let's do 0. There we go. So now this line, or like between these 2 points, everything is flat. So I think there's a little bit, should have a little bit of easier control over it. Now this point is at negative 90. I think we can lower it down a little bit to negative 100. So we can apply the same thing for this one. Negative 100. There we go. It's actually lifted up a little bit. All right, that's good. So I think we can actually lower. Let's actually do a quick last sculpt here, and then we'll work on the placing, placing the tunnel a little bit better. There we go. It looks like I could actually do, um, if you remember, we actually brought up the mesh maybe a little too high. So let's do 30. That, that looks okay-ish, though. Let's try and lower this a little bit more to about here. Actually, it could be lower. Let's try and see if we can get some fine-tuned adjustments here. Maybe to about there. I think that's okay. All right. Not entirely sure what these little things are. If they're from, I think they might be from my mesh. I want to take a quick look at it. Oh my God, every time I open something and I see how many tabs I have open, it's like, oh God. Yeah, so there is something in my, oh, it's probably this outside, um, the little, this kind of displaced outside mesh that I have here. So I'll adjust that afterwards, and I think we'll cover that anyways with what we're going to try and put on the sides. So for that, I am thinking of maybe let's see how this looks with that IA scatter tool that I've been using. I'm going to try and place some of those like granite meshes that I have kind of along the beach or in some of those areas to add a little bit of variety and remove the kind of, not necessarily that it's repetitive, but the repetitiveness of this ground. All right, so we have these. I'm gonna make this one because I need it to be on a spline. So let's do spline omni, or spline down might work. All right, and since this one's going to be straight, just going to remove this, and now try and picture like some kind of granite type of gravel instead of these cubes. And let's see, where is that? I think think I called it granite rocks. Um, let's see, it's not this one, but it's probably, could it be this one? Let's try this one out. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I got a certain number of instances. Um, I don't want it aligned to normal, and I also don't want it to do any kind of tracing. So I just wanted to just follow this line and just place them at a little bit of random. And let's do, I think it was tracing, so no tracing. There we go. So that way it follows the spline. And let's look at the placing. So I'm gonna do a much smaller spread, so maybe 20, 50. Okay, so let's try with 50 for a spread. And I'm gonna play a little bit with the, let's do the rotation as well. So the rotation, 360. So there's like a little bit of variety in there. And also the scaling. So I'm gonna do maybe a 0.6 to 1. Okay, that's a little bit better. And now let's just place this right on the side of these. We'll see how this is gonna fit. Also extend this point out to there. And the same thing with this one. There we go. And now let's just try and position it. See where it would work best. Like right there. So that way at least it kind of helps a little bit with blending from the contact points between the terrain and the tunnel entrance as well, because you remember, like, yeah, we were able to sculpt it, and it's actually, it's somewhat difficult to see. You see it right here, like this is the landscape and this is the mesh. But placing these should help remove that line. But I think we might need a little bit more instances here, so just to cover everything up. And oh, and one other thing that we want to add in here is let's do a fixed distance, or actually, I think there was like something called a minimum distance between. Let me see where that is. At least, so that way, yeah, they're all instances, but kind of keep it contained. And this one was, I think it was minimum. Yeah, minimum distance between instances. Let me see if this one, because I think I tried this before, but it didn't really work properly. I'm not sure what I was missing with this minimum distance between them. Yeah, not entirely sure why that isn't working right. But what I'll do is, since we have a a difference, or like a rand, the sizes are between zero point 0.6 and 1, and we also kind of rotate them. We can, doing a fixed distance should be okay. So let's see if we do a fixed distance. 300, would that be okay? 200, 200 is better. 150, I think I like better 150. So that's actually not that bad. And it kind of blends into this area here. Okay, that's good. And then let's do one more on this side here. Oh yeah, there we go. That's actually not that bad. As, as horrible as that sound, that's actually okay. Oh, and before I forget, one thing to do is for the splines, I wanted to select this one. Um, and especially for the control points that are inside the tunnel. So this one and this one. I wanted for the side fall off to be 0. So that way, or actually let's do maybe 100. So that way it's not trying to sculpt too much of the terrain at the exits, right? Because I want to be able to, kind of sculpt the terrain up a little bit around these corners. As you can see, like you can see it's kind of hard to tell. I wish it was a little bit better. But if you look at this little dotted line, that's what this is doing, this half width. So if I was to change this back to say 500, you'll see that that one kind of moves along. Oops, that wasn't it. That was not the that was like I wanted the side fall off. So yeah, if we take a look at this little dotted line and we change it to 150, you'll see that this kind of moves. So that's how it determines how far along the spline it's actually going to sculpt the terrain, um, or do a fall off from the terrain on the sides. So I'm going to keep this low just so that maybe even lower, so 50, so that especially in this area here, like if I'm gonna do some hand sculpting to cover where these meshes are, as you can see, they're a little floating above the ground. Um, so that way, the next time that I might do a full sculpt with the splines, I don't run into the issues of, having these little, you can see these little lips or these little edges kind of poking out like that. All right, so let's try that out, see what comes of it. So I'm just going to do a simple sculpt, just bringing this up a little bit like that, and like that over there. That should be enough, and I can actually do it in here so we can cover that edge. There we go. So I'm hoping that now if I do a sculpt using the splines, hopefully this is not going to be affected too badly. Let's see how that's going to look. And yeah, there we go. So you can see these are still covered by this little sculpt that I did locally, and the same thing on this side. And these kind of blend in a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So now let's do the same thing at this end. Try and get this little thing covered there. There we go. And the same thing on this side. There. Okay. So now we can that should be fine the next time we run a sculpt using the landscapes. But now I wanted to also kind of focus on this on this tunnel, just so that I can apply a little bit of a better material to it. And let me see. I think what I want to use is the same material that is used in here. I think. Let's see. It's kind of the same tunnel concrete looking thing. Because if I remember correctly, this is a pretty cool material where you can I can uh, do some really nice vertex paint on it. So we can apply some like damage and whatnot to it. Let's see. Yeah, you can see over here, kind of like that, the impact of that road being that was really wide. So it really went all this way, all the way to here to with the fall off to sculpt next to it. All right, so let's apply this material to this guy here. And I think it already has the damaged material applied to, like the damage concrete applied to it. Let me try a different one. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna use this one. So now I'm gonna go into Shift 4 and paint some some things to it, like just remove some of just leave some of the damage around the corners, edges, and kind of uh, points of contact with the ground. So just also helping with the transition. All right, so for example, if we look here, so I'm gonna try and paint this one out like this, and then just leave this damage around here, like this corner, and we'll do the same on this side. And just leave the corner alone. There we go. And across this, I'm going to try and get a little bit of a area that's somewhat cleaner concrete. Also where this meets, I think I'm going to keep it as, kind of damaged. Let's see, what do I want to paint? I was hoping to get it a little bit on that side, but that's a little much. There we go. I think I'll leave it like that. Okay, so that's good there. And I'm probably going to leave like a line of damage across the middle. And just go into unlit mode. You can see this a little bit better. Just leave that damaged area across the middle, so it also hopefully removes the seam between the two meshes, because these were like just mirrored when I put them together. There we go. And then the walls, I'm gonna start by just removing everything, and then we'll paint in some damage here and there. The bottom is going to be that contact point, so I want that to have a damage applied to it. Oh yeah, it's still a little bit hard to see. There we go. So we're at the other exit. There we go. That's kind of cool. And this one here, I'm just going to break it up a little bit. And then let's paint a little bit of kind of damage here and there, just going up the wall type of, some breaks in between. This, a little bit around here, and around here. There we go. So I think that blends, having that damage along the bottom blends a little bit better with this granite mesh there. And also let's do it on this side. I'm quickly gonna just do a quick save. It's having quite a bit of a load with all these tabs I have open. So I don't want the engine to just up and crash. All right, so there we go. We have some of this down on this side as well. And around here. There we go. And that there. Okay, that's actually turned out a lot better than I expected. Let me position these rocks a little bit better, or do we want this tunnel? I think maybe the tunnel needs to go this way a little bit. We got some room on this side to move these rocks. Okay, that's better. All of them positioned that way. I earlier dragged in some some of these ivy. I have a few ivy meshes that are used in a bunch of other locations, and I'm thinking just to add those onto like the sides, these kind of water runoffs, whatever you these are called, footings, and let's add those in. So let me see which ones I want to start with. This one, because this one is like one of those that hangs over the edge kind of meshes. And we'll try and make this one a little bit bigger. Yeah, so it can kind of hide, say, under the rock. And but off of those, we can attach some more of the ones that are just vertical. So let's do this one, and then I'll try and use this. Let's see how this one fits here. I think this one is one of those that kind of grows up. It seems like the leaves are oriented a different way. Let me try this one. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Adding those like that. All right. Let me use these ones as well to kind of put them like right along on this edge here. Like this, I think. Kind of put them to the to this section here. That's kind of where they all started. So they're kind of forming a whole little area of ivy roots. Kind of like this. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think that will do fine. So we'll try doing something similar on the other end. I keep on selecting the tunnel. Okay, that's a good enough selection. Just try and bring these over. And we will make some small modifications so it doesn't look identical to that exit. So they kind of would start from here. And let's add like one of these. that, and I'll remove these ones. There we go. Yeah, I think that will work. All right, so that's good. Let me add. I'm thinking maybe some puddles that would kind of look cool in here. Let's see what we can do about that. And I think I'm just gonna place a regular plane. And so I've tried this in the past with decals. And while decals are fine for uses like this, I kind of like the planes a little bit better, and I'll show you why. So I'm just gonna, if there's any collisions, let's just set these to no collision and make the scale maybe 5 times. So if you picture this, I'm just gonna apply um, like a masked puddle to this, and let me see, maybe 10. We'll see how good this looks. Because yeah, the masked puddle is going to be a little bit it's not going to cover the entire rectangle. I mean, this entire uh, square rectangle. All right, so let me find that mask puddle. Maybe I think is what I called it. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me apply this. Oh yeah, there we. That's actually not that bad. Yeah, I like that. Let me maybe put a couple of these. Like rotate this around. Put another one on this side, if I can like grab it. And this one also has one thing that I need to be a little bit careful with is that it does have, since it's a mask, it and it's also, it's also a mesh, so kind of trying to be a little careful with the points where it meets the other meshes, so it doesn't have too much of it. Okay, there we go. That's actually looking pretty good. Let me see if I can get it to be a little bit, kind of adjust the roughness, maybe a specular value with this. See if we can get a little bit more reflection in there. Okay, maybe that's a little too much. There we go. So yeah, having these kind of noisy surfaces, I think work out pretty well with using a puddle as a plane like this. But yeah, see, this is what I was telling you about. It's kind of like a little bit of a threshold of where do you want to place this so it um, doesn't create like these little things with the mesh. And the puddle um, the decal will probably uh, not have that happen, but let's actually try the decal as well. Just gonna delete this one for now, and let's see if I can find that decal. I think it might be this one. Yeah, so see the thing with this one is it doesn't have that flatness, right? It doesn't give the flatness that that plane does um, if you put it on a noisy surface. So that's why I'm trying to put that flat, uh, flat plane because it would give you like a flat puddle, right? Like this one here, right? With With the decal, unfortunately, you have to have it on something that's flat. You know, it would still work, but for some wetness and stuff, but not. I don't think it works as good as the plane. So let me do this also to this material. Okay, so it's got a pixel depth offset for blending, but I think I'm already using that like in the track. So there we go. Uh, so just finding that little sweet spot where these are kind of, they don't have you're not seeing like the lip, like you would see it here, right? It's faint, but you still see it. So see if we can. One other thing that might help is not have this onto the tracks as much, So let's kind of keep it to the side, or at least the one side of the track here. There we go. And now they run into like a little bit of a Z fighting there. So let me try and adjust these. There we go. Okay. So that looks that I'm happy with that. Let me, yeah, see, this is the other thing. Like it's got this little bit of a hard edge on the side as well. So that's um, just trying to find the best placement for these. So I think that would work. Yeah, that's okay that way. I wanted to try just a tiny bit of a different lighting scenario and see how it looks in the tunnel. Was there any angle at where this one? Oh yeah, there you go. Hey, that's actually kind of a cool um, little lighting scenario there. And try to select the sky one more time. And we'll play, see if, I don't think from the other side it's gonna come through because it's just blocked. I was wondering if there's any angle at which it would there'd be some light entering from this end. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think the mountains block it. Yeah, so it's only from this side. Okay, well that was just a kind of trying that out. All right. So I think that came out pretty good. I'm happy with that. Maybe let's see, what could we add here? Maybe a couple of decals just to fill in some of the spacings. I'm starting to think that so the mesh itself, this is the tunnel mesh. I think I might need to remove the material that's applied to this to just make it concrete. Yeah, so I might do that after the stream. But let's add a couple of decals, maybe some kind of like warning lines or something, like not caution lines, but let me see if I can figure out where I have those. Yeah, like something like this is what I was thinking of. Let's see if it's how does that look? Uh, yeah, I think maybe put them in the tunnel itself, like this. Okay, yeah, that could work. Let's just try and get him to be like that. Just add a little bit to the walls. They felt a little bit not bare, but with not too much detail to them. I mean, there is detail, don't get me wrong, but it's just adding this in. All right, so I'm just gonna try and center it. Not that it's gonna be, end to end, but yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see, position this one as well. See if we can get them to be somewhat um, like mirroring each other. Okay, that's about in the same spot almost. Okay, I'll take that. That's good. All right, so yeah, and on top, I've added some of these kind of just guardrails type of things, and then you have this one going underneath. The track is kind of turning, going towards that tunnel. Yeah, there we go. So that was um, well, most of the things that I wanted to do for this tunnel. But when it comes to the dam, that's the other part where I kind of wanted to make some changes. So this road just ends up right at the dam entrance, which, whoops, where did I kind of jumped around a little bit? Um, which is not really what I mean, that's how I initially started prototyping this area, but what I wanted to have is more of a, um, and I'm not sure, hopefully I'm not introducing too much issues, but like this would be kind of a road going across, like maybe starting somewhere back there, kind of going across this way. And then this would be just a kind of like a service road going into the dam, with fencing alongside. I mean, that's one thing that I haven't really seen. Like some of the dam, you know, kind of like the bottom of the dams. They seem to be more like that than just drive straight into it. Kind of anybody can do that. So. Yeah, let's see how that would turn out. I'm gonna start with just editing this road basically. So let me go to manage, just minimize a couple of these windows here, close some of these. Oh man, there's so much stuff open. Um, and then let's grab this point. Maybe I'll just move it a little further back, like to here. And then the next one, let's do it here. And then it kind of goes across this way. And then this could be another one of um, those tunnel entrances that it would kind of lead you, in the player's view off of this world. So let's see how this is gonna, sculpt. All right, so kind of like that. think I'm starting to like this better already. So let's try and do a sculpt here. And and this part here would be just like a kind of like a small bridge type of thing. As you can see, like this thing is in the air, but I was working this week on a bridge just for this purpose. So hopefully I'll have that ready for next week so we can kind of complete this area as well. But for now, I just wanted to kind of put the let's call them building pieces in place, right? Yeah, so this would be like the road going to the side there, and then we have like this utility road that goes to the dam entrance here. So let's add that in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and start from this point here. We'll see how that's going to look. But at least for this one, I can do, let me see, what side are we on? Yeah, so see, I can like decrease the left side fall off. So that way it doesn't influence the point of where the connection, this service road would be. So let's add this in. So I'm going to start from here and kind of go to the side like this, all the way to here. So that entrance, and this road is going to be pretty, I mean, it's not going to be very wide as a, just as a service road. So I'm going to make this maybe 500. And that also makes it a little bit easier to control as far as, kind of the turns, like the turns where it joins with the road here and it goes around. So I think that should be okay. All right, let's sculpt this out as well. There it goes. And what I forgot is the at the connection point, this one I'm just gonna set the end fall off to 0, and hopefully we'll get this little lump out of the way. This this section here of terrain. There we go. That's much better. And this we can always add some decals to it. All right, I'll paint some of the dirt, so just so that the trees don't get simulated on this as well. So like around here. Oh, not grass, but dirt. Sorry. So there's that, and along here. There we go. And I think that one's already painted out. Good. And then that. All right, so that's in place. Let's actually assign a mesh to this. For now, I'm just going to use the 2-lane road. I'm probably just going to use one that's like just a simple 1 lane. So let's grab this one and segments and apply this mesh. There we go. All right, and I'll paint a little bit of mulch in this area. Hopefully we'll get some trees simulated in there, just as a border type of thing. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and simulate the trees. Let's see if how that's gonna turn out. Because those are like kind of the big one that would cover this area here. Hopefully This procedural foliage volume covers it. I think it does. All right, let's go ahead and simulate this. Gonna take a little bit. And hopefully we'll just get rid of these trees that are on the road and we'll place some around here. All right, I think it's doing it. I think it is. I definitely get the appeal of the PCG tool. I think it's what it's called. Procedural component or procedural something generation versus like the just the procedural foliage tool. But this is what I've gotten used to, and um, definitely there's a lot more complexity behind that PCG tool. I wish I had some like um, elevator music, but I guess it got done. There we go. That's much better. There's some around here that that's actually not too bad. All right, so then we have the road connecting this, and what I wanted to add to this, I was mentioning just some fencing. So let me go and grab one of the um, IA scatter fences that are, if I recall correctly, somewhere around here. There we go. Actually, did I generate these? I think I might have. So that one's already in place. And this one too. I was kind of hoping that I did not um, turn these fences into, there we go. I think I can use this one. So we'll add that in. Hey, Alanika, thank you so much for stopping by. You too, you too. Hopefully, I'll see you next weekend. There should be, hopefully by next weekend, I'll have the crafting mechanism in place so we can pick up some, search through some of the trash bin, like a trash bin, pick up, find some scraps, and then, craft an arrow out of it. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great rest of your weekend, a great week, okay? All right, so I'm gonna use this, and yeah, it's really slowing down once you zoom out and everything is loaded. Oh my God. I've been working on so many things at the same time that I'm like, I don't want to close these tabs. All right, so um, I just wanted to add like the fencing along the edge of this, but hopefully this makes sense as to why I wanted to do the the service kind of access road for the dam and not and not have this road go straight into the dam. I kind of was thinking about it for a while and was trying to find like some videos of um, of like the bottom, like somebody driving around the bottom of a dam. Yeah. All right, let's see. Is it 90? and 90. There we go. So we have the fencing here, and then we'll have another set on this side. Somewhat like this. You see, I believe I also have a like a little bit of a gate that I can use just to place that in for now. And let me see real quick. Maybe this. I think this, yeah, this would fit. I might need to space those out a little bit more, but yeah, we at least just to have this in place. Okay, so that's like I'm gonna sculpt the terrain just to meet this, and then kind of create the bridge over here, and we should be able to look at that and finish this area uh, next week. And also the other thing uh, that I hope to also show next week is since I have the drop point solved so that you in the main level you fall to where that fall point is. I also want to find a placement like I was showing you earlier where uh, the chemical factory is, a placement for the turret, so that it shoots at you because you've approached this area. And so I'm gonna try and find the positioning for that because like the flight path, takes you on the side of this chemical factory, right? But I need to determine kind of how far the the turret can see you at. Like in that test level, it was pretty close. So yeah, it was able to the AI was able to see you within that distance. But I don't want to increase that too much for one. And it's also like the difference in height from if I place it here to where this plan would be over here is pretty big. And I'm not sure if what's the pitch that it can register. Okay, so you can see this far away, but can you also see up and down by how much? And yeah, and I hope also to do a little bit of the grunt work to finish off like the enclosing the factory, just with the fencing. And so hopefully I'll have that ready for next week as well. And like I said, next week we can potentially on the on the part of the video where we do some of the world building, maybe finish off this area here. Also, maybe I'll try and work on this mesh a little more. So, it's got like if you think of a dam, it's got those little pipes coming down that uh, evacuate the water, kind of like or dump water from the lake above it. Uh, Very technical terms there. And and have that in place as well. And we can make that look nice. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate that. And again, my apologies for not streaming the past couple of weeks. Like I said, there were all these things that I wanted to get in and show you that I did at the beginning of the stream. And yeah, that should make for a little bit more interesting gameplay as well. So I'll see you next weekend. I'll see if I can do a stream both Saturday and Sunday. I'll post it on Discord and schedule it here on YouTube. But yeah, until then, guys, have a great week, great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right, take care, everybody.